Thanks for joining us. This is TNT, Co-Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate. I'm Patrick Clancy. With me is John Cooper. We're one man down tonight, Coop.
Yeah, missing a man. No Brad tonight.
Mr. Hurley is very busy. He's a busy working man tonight, so we're going to have to kind of try to roll without him. He will certainly be missed, but we'll see if we can get by there, Coop.
Yeah, we still have his predictions and some of his input, so we'll include him in the show. He just won't be here physically with us.
A bit surprising because I believe, if I remember correctly, he's now in first as far as our predictions go. So
I think we might be tied. I think Brad and I might be tied. I think I got him by one game week 1. I think he got me by one game week 2. So
gotcha.
I think we're tied. I think you're only one game back.
Okay.
If my calculations are correct.
All right.
Brad has the official stats with him, but I think it's still real close after 2 weeks.
All right. So you don't got the handsome Mr. Hurley to look at tonight, but it's me and Coop, and we're going to try to run things down for you. The last 2 weeks we had some technical difficulties. We got both shows out. Last week's unfortunately didn't get out till Friday morning. I will tell you that we're going to try something a little different tonight, and we're going to keep it real short. The last 2 weeks were about 40 minutes long, and that kind of caused a little bit of issues with our uploading and just the logistics of the whole thing. So we're going to try to move things along tonight, keep it short, see how it goes. So some people actually, some of the feedback we've got, at times kind of prefer it that way. So we figure we're just going to give it a shot tonight. So we're going to keep it short and sweet. We're going to get right into our Week 2 recap. First, the game that myself and Brad Hurley, who's not here tonight, had on the radio, Panther Valley at Hamburg. Hamburg jumped out early, 8-0, scored a big touchdown right before the half to make it 16-0, and then hung on to win at the end 34-14. It was one flag after another in this game, Coop. Yes. I believe there was close to 30 total penalties. PV could not get the run game going. Yeah. Passing game, they had some bright spots. Hunter Kennedy did a nice job throwing the ball. Tristan Blasco, Christian Baez came in. I'm sorry, Tyler Baez came in, had some nice receptions. So there were some bright spots in the passing game, but entirely too many mistakes, too many mental mistakes by the Panthers. That's one game that later in the season, kind of look back and you wish you had it back because it was a team that they could have played with. However, I must say Hamburg was better than I thought.
Yeah. I agree, and watching it back on film, I thought, matchup wise, I thought it was very, very even. But like you said, just penalties on both sides of the ball. Obviously, and Hamburg might be sitting there saying, well, we could have won by a bigger margin. We're sitting here saying the Panthers could have been right in this one. Eliminate the penalties either way. But like you said, a sloppy game, a tough one to get any kind of flow with. When the referees are working harder than the players sometimes, picking up the laundry, that makes for a long day. So hopefully Panther Valley will clean it up this week coming up.
Yeah, it was long. Like you said, a lot of flags really disrupted the rhythm of the game. It was sloppy all around, to be honest with you. The game started at 7. I think the game ended at about 9:40, 9:45. So yeah, it was a long one. Panthers looking to get back on track next week. We'll get to that down the road. But Panthers 1-1 now after losing to Hamburg last week. Next one, we got North Schuylkill 14, Steel High 0. The Spartans with a huge shutout over Steel High, Coop.
Yeah, we didn't know much about Steelton High, but we know a lot about this North Schuylkill defense now. They're playing well in back-to-back games, and obviously not a high-scoring affair. So Steelton obviously had a tough defense of their own. So to go on the road like that against an unknown opponent and pitch a shutout, great job by the Spartans.
And historically, Steel High, they've put out a lot of quality running backs, a lot of quality skill players. So to hold them to a goose egg on the scoreboard, very impressive by North Schuylkill. North Schuylkill making a statement early in the season. They are now 2-0. Brings us to our next game. Speaking of 2-0, Pottsville. Pottsville coming into the league, we talked about the advantages for them now getting out of the Berks League, now getting back into the Schuylkill League like they are in baseball and football. They're playing the teams that they used to play. Going to be a better gate, going to be a better atmosphere, going to give them a better opportunity to compete. But weeks 1 and 2, they're doing against area teams, and Pottsville does it again. Pottsville looking very strong through 2 weeks of the season, and the Pottsville Tide beat Muhlenberg 34-18.
Yeah, this one was interesting because Blue Mountain had played Muhlenberg the week before, so not that you can really compare one game to the next, but it gave us some look at where Pottsville's going to be, and close early on, like a little back and forth, but then it looked like Pottsville found the rhythm and opened it up, and we expected them to win this game. They took care of business, but I scoreboard watching early on there because it was a little bit it was tight early, until Pottsville got it going. I believe Lipinski had a pretty nice game for the Tide.
Eric Lipinski, huge game for Pottsville. 4 total touchdowns, 3 of them passing. They early in the game, it seemed that they were really keying on Jacoby from Pottsville, and Lipinski kind of took over and did a heck of a job for the Tide. So Pottsville moves the record to 2-0. Huge start for Pottsville. Moving on, Blue Mountain 43, Hanover 6. Not a whole lot to say about this game. Blue Mountain had a great ball distribution on offense.
Yes,
they had a lot of guys making plays, and Blue Mountain just completely dominated.
Yeah, almost 300 yards rushing. I believe it was 11 different ball carriers in the game for Blue Mountain. Really spreading the ball around. They're not going to have that 20 carry guy this year, and that's the way Coach Mabry wants. He wants to keep everybody fresh and dominate the line of scrimmage and got an easy one.
Blue Mountain, right where we thought they would be at 2-0. Next, Minersville Shenandoah. Minersville, Keandre Taylor show on Friday night. Huge game for Keandre Taylor, the converted running back the converted quarterback, who's now the running back for the Miners. Keandre Taylor was the quarterback last year, now's the running back. Steele Fichetti comes in and doing a nice job running the show from the quarterback position for the Miners. Keandre Taylor with about 190 yards rushing on Friday night, and Miners will get their first win of the season, and they beat Shenandoah. The final score there was 33-12.
Yeah, this was one that you and I both lost last week.
We did, yeah.
We wanted the Blue Devils in their home opener, but Minersville, they both played quality opponents the first week, obviously, but Minersville, a little more momentum and played a nice game and got their first W. So congrats to them, and they'll meet up again down the road. Minersville and Shenandoah, do it one more time later. So.
Okay, next we have Tamaqua and Monty area. Tamaqua, preseason dark horse of myself.
Cool. Yeah, and it's looking good. Your dark horse is looking good.
I like the way Tamaqua's playing. I like the way they like I said, I like the way historically they've been under Coach Bonner. They're always tough. They don't make many mistakes. They don't turn the ball over. They always have a good rushing game, and it seems like they have a few more weapons. You're familiar with Tamaqua. You've seen them a couple times.
Yeah, I like what they do, and they're very efficient. When they have the ball, they score. Unless they're in a situation. Second half.
That's good quality for a football team. I mean, you have the ball, you score.
Yeah, the second half of last week's game, they were they went ahead 35-7 in the first half. Second half, they didn't really need to do much. They took the air of the ball. They got conservative, and rightfully so. But when they have to score, when they want to score, they're doing a great job. And I got to see them against Minersville. I got to see them against Monty area, and this week I'll get to see them against Schuylkill Haven. We'll get to that one later. But I like your dark horse so far. They're doing things right.
Blue Raiders with a 35-7 win over the Golden Bears of Monty area. Next, moving on, we have the Jim Thorpe Olympians and the Marion Colts. We all thought last week, as we talked about this game, that this was going to be a tightly contested contest. This is one that we were excited to see, and this one did not disappoint, Coop. Yeah. What a fantastic game, start to finish, big plays, big stops, awesome atmosphere, big rivalry. You have a lot of Jim Thorpe kids that are actually on the Marion roster as well. Mm-hmm. So you have that factor going, in the game, and it was just all around awesome high school football game. The Olympians come on top in a huge win, 26-21 over the Colts.
Yeah, and first and foremost, it's great to see this game. I mean, with them being in separate divisions, they don't have to play this game. It's great that the ADs and coaches, everybody got involved, got together, and got this backyard rivalry going. It's obviously going to be even matched. We had a great game, the one possession game. Jim Thorpe will come away with the win, but anyone's game to win there, all the way down to the end. And it's just good to see this Jim Thorpe Marion game back on the schedule. Hope it stays there year after year after year.
Yeah, great game. Brendan Carroll in his first year under center for the Olympians, first year actually out for football for the Olympians, really having a nice start to the year. Carroll's been a standout on the basketball court and the baseball diamond for the Olympians, and now under center making some plays for the Olympians, and it being a huge factor in their nice start. The Olympians now 2-0. Marion drops to 1-1.
1-1. Jim Thorpe.
I'm sorry, Jim Thorpe 1-1 after they lost to Hayden in week 1. Yep. Sorry, thanks, Coop.
Yep.
Both teams there 1-1. Next we have our game of the week, Schuylkill Haven and Lehighton. Speaking of great games, this one also did not disappoint. Lehighton at home, second game in the new stadium. I kind of thought the momentum would carry them.
I did too, and I think I don't want to say we underestimated Schuylkill Haven. They got a lot of preseason accolades, and they're the team to beat in Division II, but we weren't sure how they'd match up with the larger school and going on the road, and they obviously did a great job. Played very good defense, especially down the stretch, and were able to come away with the win there.
Yeah, so Schuylkill Haven, as you mentioned, especially in the second half, 24 minutes of the toughest football you're going to see. Just kind of a blueprint for tough Coal-Region football for Schuylkill Haven there in the second half especially. So Schuylkill Haven comes up top of Lehighton 27-20. Huge game. Preston Guerin with a nice start to the season. Had another nice game as well. Danny Lozada from the quarterback position with a lot of big plays, both with his arms and with his legs. And Haven, boy, that's just a statement win. League-wide, that's just a statement win for the Hurricanes.
Absolutely, and it was a 21-20 game late, and Lehighton actually allowed Schuylkill Haven to score. That was the only chance of getting the ball back there. They blocked the extra point, which made it the 7-point game, and Lehighton got the ball back with around 2 minutes left, and an opportunity to try to go down and tie it, and the Haven defense came up big, stopped them, and came away with the victory. But I love the move by Coach McCarroll to allow the touchdown. They let him score about 40 yards out rather than letting Schuylkill Haven milk the clock. And so they said, "Go score. We're gonna get the ball back, come down, and try to tie it." Didn't work in their favor, but I like the strategy and a hard-fought game.
Yeah, great game. So he's, one of the things we talked about coming into this year was we expected to see more of these competitive games, and I know right now these games are non-league, but last year we had more league games, but we also had a lot more blowouts. I mean, we would be coming here and we would be talking about 8 games and 6 of them weren't even close.
Right.
So through 2 weeks, we're seeing a lot of great games, a lot of great matchups, a lot of renewed rivalries. A lot of great atmospheres out there. So it's been an exciting 2 weeks thus far. Hardcore performers from week 2. Coop, why don't you give me one?
I'm going to go with Brendan Carroll. You mentioned him earlier, the quarterback for Jim Thorpe Olympians. Double threat this week. He had a rushing touchdown, also threw for a touchdown, and just to come in, after a year where their quarterback from last year, Snitsky, graduates, and to bring stability to that position. I know it was a preseason battle. It looks like he's going to be the guy. So to bring stability, play as well as he did in that type of atmosphere that you talked about. Great job for Brendan Carroll. He's my hardcore performer.
All right, my hardcore performer coming from our game of the week. I'm going to go with Danny Lozada from Schuylkill Haven. Made some huge plays in that game, in our game of the week, and like I said, just a statement win for Haven. Going on the road to Lehighton, defending league champs in that new stadium. Huge win for Schuylkill Haven. We also got our third hardcore performer of the week, Eric Lipinski, Pottsville's quarterback, leading the Tide to a 2-0 start. Big year for the Tide thus far. They have big goals for this year, now being in the Schuylkill League, so there's a lot of excitement back in that football program, which may have been lacking a bit the last couple of years, and Eric Lipinski, huge part of it so far this year. So that is our third hardcore performer of the week. So, big picture right now. Coop, any thoughts?
No, like I said, obviously because I got to see Tamako play 2 weeks in a row. When you don't get to see a lot of teams play, it's hard to gauge them. Seeing Tamako play 2 weeks in a row, I like what they're doing. I like the fact that they don't commit penalties. I like the fact that they don't turn the football over, and I like the fact that they're way more balanced than they have been in the past. So, big picture, I think your dark horse prediction earlier is looking good. Like I said, obviously the division games haven't started yet, but they have a nice, tough group of kids, and I think they're doing some good things. So I'm excited about their game coming up this week at Schuylkill Haven and down the future. But other than that, I like the way the Schuylkill League teams are performing, especially outside of the league. They're doing a nice job. I don't think we've had a Schuylkill League team lose to a non-league team yet when they're beating each other on certain weeks. But,
Sure.
So the Schuylkill League's doing a great job.
Yep. Panthers lost to Hamburg.
Oh, yep, you're right. Panthers lost to Hamburg.
But the record, you're right.
Yes.
The record has been very
That's
good.
been impressive, yeah.
Okay, big picture. I'm looking at a couple teams like Shenandoah, Minersville, Panther Valley, Monterey area. My big picture thought right now is this: 32 out of 46 teams in District 11, through all the classifications, 32 out of 46, approximately 3/4 of the teams, are going to make district playoffs. So after 2 weeks, my big thought is this. My big picture thought is this: don't panic.
Right.
It's very easy right now if you're 0-2 to think, oh, the sky is falling.
Yeah.
You got to get through it. And we both teach at Panther Valley. I'm looking at the Panthers right now. They're sitting here at 1-1. They got a rough stretch coming up right now with some of the bigger schools in the Schuylkill League that they're playing local rivals, considered to be non-league games right now.
Right.
Lehigh and Tamaqua and Jim Thorpe, not necessarily in that order.
Right.
You know, and then they got Haven and Marion on the horizon in the league games.
Sure.
But for Panther Valley and Haven and Shenandoah and Monoy, I'm sorry, for Panther Valley and Monoy and Shenandoah and Minersville, those games at the end of the year are huge.
Yes.
Some of those teams are going to make playoffs. You squeak out a 4 and 6 this year, you might get in, which hasn't been the case in the past. In the past, we've been here at the end of the year wondering if an 8-2 Blue Mountain team is going to get in districts. Is a 9-1 Lehigh team going to get into districts? Because we didn't know how things were going to shake out. Well, you know, if you get the job done this year, especially at the end of the year, you're going to get in. So I think that's a big factor that these kids have to keep in mind. And I don't know if that's something that, you know, a lot of the players, you might not quite grasp that if you don't know how. The setup is drastically different right now in the PIAA. So that would be number one.
Yeah, and I agree that just real quick because
Go ahead. Yeah,
and it keeps, you know, it allows the coaches to keep the players bought in longer. You know, like obviously in years past you start out 0-3, 0-4, like, oh, we're done. You know, but now, you know, like, there's motivation there. Especially, I like the way that they put the league schedule at the end of the year. The 5 games at the end of the year, your league schedule. So there's still a lot to play for. So if you're like you said, Pat, if you're an 0-2 team right now, you're fine. It's kind of like the Aaron Rodgers from a year ago. You know, the RELAX. You know, relax.
you got it.
And the same thing here. You know, there's still a lot to play for. So, go ahead, number 2.
Number 2, along those same lines, because this is the point of the season when we've seen it. We've seen it. We're both coaching, but let's even just talk about covering football the last couple of years. You know, whether it be for you know the radio or whatever aspect it was at the time. This is a time of year where if things are not going well, finger pointing might happen.
Sure.
If you're not happy with your playing time, you know there's chirping in the stands. So I guess I'm going to say is as a coach. Breaking news: coaches want to win games.
Yes.
So
yes, we know.
If you don't like your role right now as a player, if you don't like your playing time, if you have playing time and you don't like what that role is at this moment, you need to take it upon yourself to improve it and change it. And I'm sorry to get on my coaching soapbox right now, but you already hear it starting a little bit, and we've seen a lot of different teams. In 2 weeks, we've had the opportunity to go to a few different places. But as a player, I guess this one's to the players. It's on you. Go change it. You know, because coaches want to win games. And if you're going to help them win games, they're going to get you out there. And if getting you the ball is going to help them win games, they're going to get you the ball. Coaches want to win games, right?
I agree. I never filled out a lineup card thinking, this isn't my best guy, but I'm going to play him anyway. You know?
Right.
So,
I mean, that's the bottom line. So you know, it's early in the season, but it's a time of the year where everybody's got to focus on that. I think long term, you're gonna have a lot of teams make playoffs. Everyone is going to be playing meaningful games in week 6.
Yep.
You're all going to be playing meaningful games in week 6 with a chance to go to playoffs. Nobody's aspirations for the year are out the window right now, whether it be team-wise or individually-wise. So, you know, you got to focus on, you know, improving week to week, you know, bringing it every day at practice, because really that's where it starts.
Sure.
And, you know, long-term, where do you want to be in 8 weeks? Because, you know, things happen to start the beginning of the season. Right now, not everybody's where they want to be, both team-wise and individual-wise. So, as you quoted with Aaron Rodgers, as far as big picture for the season, relax. A lot of teams are going to qualify for playoffs. Everyone still has a shot. You know, as far as individually, you know, if you don't like where you're at right now, go out and make it happen. So that's a little bit of my rant, I guess, for this week.
That's right.
All right.
Good rant.
Yeah, Hurley's not here, so we got to we're time filling.
Cover his time, yeah.
All right, so
Good rant.
we're gonna take a real quick break, and then we're just gonna quickly preview Week 3 games. Thanks for joining us. This is TNT Coal Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man.
Welcome back, TNT Coal Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate. This is our Week 3 show. We already recapped the Week 2 action, talked about our hardcore performers and some big picture stuff moving forward. We're going to give you a quick rundown of the Week 3 games. We're also going to give you our picks. Next week when we come back, we're going to update everybody's picks for the year. We'll see where me, you, and Hurls are at. So, first game, Blue Mountain at Springside Chestnut Hill Academy. Who you got?
I never heard of Springside Chestnut Hill Academy. I'm guessing they're a quality opponent. Don't know who they are. So until somebody beats our Schuylkill League Eagles, we're going to stay with Blue Mountain.
I'm staying with Blue Mountain. Hurls picked the home team, Springside Chestnut Hill Academy.
He must know something we don't.
He probably does. Next, we got Shenandoah traveling to Kutztown. I think 462 gets her first win.
I'll agree. I'm gonna stay with Shenandoah too. I know Kutztown has struggled throughout the years, and Shens are hard-nosed kids. I think they come away with the W.
Hurl's got the Blue Devils as well. Next game, Pottsville at Wissahickon. Pottsville putting their 2-0 record on the line, traveling to Wissahickon. Big road game for the Tide. Still non-league, but they're looking to keep this rolling. Who you got?
Let's stay with Pottsville. I'm gonna go with Pottsville and see if they can get the 3-0.
I'm gonna do the same.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the same. Roll Tide. I got Pottsville in week 3. Hurls, he has Wissahickon winning that one.
He's just hating the Schuylkill League this week.
Yeah, what's up with that? What's up with
Look
that?
at Hammer.
And he doesn't even show up to hate on
Right.
hate on
He
the
mails it in.
Schuylkill League. He
Yeah.
mails it in.
Well,
Mails it in.
We could put a lot of egg on his face next week, hopefully. So.
All right. Next, Holy Redeemer at Monoy area.
Golden Bears.
I got the Golden Bears as well.
And who's Hurley have?
What do you think?
I think he's going to go against the Schuylkill League again.
He is. Hurls, why are you hating on the Schuylkill League this week? What's up with that?
Wow. So either he's going to run away with this competition this week, or we are. But we'll see what happens. I like Monterey. I think there's some tough kids also. So.
They do.
Yeah.
They do, and I like them, especially at home. So I like the Bears at home.
Okay.
All right, next, Williams Valley at Minersville. This is a tough one.
This is a tough one. I know Williams Valley's has a nice program year in and year out. Minersville coming off a win. Can the Keandre Taylor show go 2 weeks in a row? Tough one.
It is a tough one.
Miners.
You got the Battle Miners.
Yeah, we go the Miners.
I got to go to Vikes.
Okay.
I do. I hate going outside of the league, but Coach Savage doing a good job there at
They're
Williams
Schuylkill
Valley.
League and other stuff.
They are.
So
They're
they
Schuylkill League.
kind of count.
Schuylkill League school.
Yeah.
Schuylkill League school. So it's not like I'm Hurls here going against every Schuylkill League
Exactly.
team. They are a Schuylkill League team in other sports. So I'm going to go with Williams Valley on the road, beating Minersville.
What does Hurls have on that one?
Hurls also has Williams Valley.
Okay.
So he continues his hate of the league.
So I have the Miners. All right. Good one.
All right, next, Lehighton at Schuylkill Valley.
Lehighton comes back. Bad taste in their mouth with that loss last week. I think the kids rally, and I think they get a road victory this week.
I agree. Lehighton gets back on track. Brad says the same. Next, we have Panther Valley at Jim Thorpe.
The old backyard rival. They always say throw records out the window, this, that, and but like I said, until Panther Valley cleans up some of the miscues they had last week, it's hard. After last week's performance, it's hard to pick them this week. So I got to see them turn some things around. Jim Thorpe put off their huge win against Marion. I think Jim Thorpe wins again.
Before the season started, looking at the entire schedule and how it played out, I kind of thought you might see PV here 2-0, rolling with momentum, and I thought you might see Jim Thorpe coming up off a hard loss against Marion.
Sure.
That hasn't happened. Opposite of week 2 where Hamburg beat Panther Valley and Jim Thorpe got a huge win. Now they're coming back again at home with a lot of excitement, looking to build off that momentum. Too many miscues for PV. Too many penalties.
Right.
Too many penalties for the Panthers. Too many misassignments. But as you said, they got to fix those mistakes to compete with these types of teams. Coming into it before we even got to week 1, this was one game I eyed up as an upset special.
Sure.
But at this point now, based on what we saw, especially last week, I got to go with the Olympians as well. Brad agrees to go with his alma mater, the Jim Thorpe Olympians, against the Panthers. Next, we have the Colts traveling to Fountain Springs to take on the North Schuylkill Spartans. Hall of Fame night in North Schuylkill.
Yeah, another intriguing game, but North Schuylkill seems to be rolling. And Brad talked about it last week with Marion trying to find some playmakers. They really struggled in the passing game this past week again against Jim Thorpe. I don't know if they're the guys to make those plays yet. I'm sure they're there, but we haven't seen them emerge yet. So all that being said, North Schuylkill at home is a tough place to play. I'm going to go with the Spartans.
I'm going to go with Spartans as well, and Brad agrees he's going with North Schuylkill. Next, our game of the week. My dark horse for the year, the Tamako Blue Raiders, traveling to Rotary Field to take on the Schuylkill Haven Hurricanes.
Well, this is a tough game because Schuylkill Haven is probably considered the favorite, being at home and come off their big win against Lehighton.
And you want to take Tamako.
And,
you want to kind of go out on the edge there and take them.
See, yeah, but I don't know if I'm being swayed by the fact that I saw Tamako play for 2 weeks, and I got a lot that I saw I was impressed with, and I really haven't seen Schuylhaven, play a game. I obviously watch scores and stuff, but just to think that there's somebody out there right now that can play better than Tamako is hard for me to imagine. But Schuylhaven looks like they are the real deal. Going on the road and getting a win at Lehighton last week is a big feather in their cap. So since the Hurricanes are at home, and until somebody proves me wrong, I'm going to stick with Schuylhaven, but will not be surprised at all if Tamako takes care of business.
I think the Callion brothers are the difference for the Hurricanes, and I'm going to take them as well. And Brad agrees. So he, in the game of the week, he also has the Schuylhaven Hurricanes. So we all have the Hurricanes this week in week 3. So as a reminder, we're still in non-league games for the Schuylkill League.
Yep.
First 5 weeks non-league, you're seeing some league teams match up. You have, as we just mentioned, Tamako and Schuylhaven, Panther Valley, Jim Thorpe. You have these teams matching up, Adelaide, Marion, and North Schuylkill. Although they are league teams, these are considered, as a reminder, non-league games. So we do get into the league aspect of the schedule starting in week 6, which the first 5 weeks having the non-league games have given us some interesting matchups.
Yeah, and it's given us some schools that we didn't know were out there. Like obviously we knew who they were, but not in the football realm. So it's nice to see these different teams and how the bigger schools especially how they really get creative and go out and find some opponents and some teams that are willing to play them. And you got to think if a team's willing to take on a Blue Mountain or Pottsville, they got to be a quality program, or they wouldn't take the game. So. It's making for some interesting matchups. It's making things hard on us for our pick because we don't know a lot about these outside teams. But it's fun to broaden our horizon a little bit.
Well, speaking of broadening our horizon, throughout the year we've talked about players like a Connor Kerstetter, like a Major Jordan, like a Darren Jacoby, and Eric Wapinski, Rini Figueroa, Keandre Taylor. We've talked about these names, Madera from Jim Thorpe, and we've talked about these guys that we were familiar with and have done a few things in the past and through the first 2 weeks. Here's what we want to look for this week. We want to see who's stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're looking for this week, and we're going to talk about them next week. So next week, somebody's going to step up this week, and you're going to hear about them next week. Lozada, another guy that we've expected things from, and we've seen it. But there's guys out here that are kind of increasing their role, and we're going to talk about those guys next week because it's going to be interesting to see who steps up and makes plays Fridays because it's going to be some new faces. Happens every year, and we're going to make sure we have them on our radar coming into next week's show. So, Coop, any closing thoughts?
No, along with that stepping up, though, one guy that has been doing it in the 2 games I saw and could be a big factor this week is Zeke Wassel from Tamako. Gives him a dread on the outside. He's a dangerous return man, so that's one guy that we're going to be hearing a lot more about as the season goes on.
Nice. Where are you at this week?
I'm at Tamako Schuylhaven game, so
Game of the week. Look at you.
Game of the week. I'm excited.
You're big time.
Be there at Whitey Williams on Magic 105.5, and looking forward to that one.
So if you would like to hear the sweet sounds of John Cooper and Coach Whitey Williams, turn on Magic 105.5, and you'll hear the game of the week with Tamako Raiders and the Schuylhaven Hurricanes. I also know that Hurls is going to be down in Jim Thorpe for the backyard rivalry between Panther Valley and Jim Thorpe. That'll be on the 14:10 a.m. I will not be working the game this week. I will be at Citizens Bank Park taking in the boss, Bruce Springsteen.
There you go.
Been a while. Kind of looking forward to it, gotta be honest with you. Although you hate missing a Friday night in the region.
Yeah, the boss is a good reason.
Boss is a good reason. Not many reasons to miss, but that's one. So, but I'll be sure to check out the tape and watch the the highlights and watch the film that we're fortunate enough to get from some of the coaches. And we'll be back next week to recap everything for you. So, thanks again for joining us. This is TNT, Coal Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate.